So Plex has released a few new features that I think you might find a little interesting. And yes, I know I'm a few days behind on this, but I've been busy, so deadlines. What's up YouTube, Jason here with Buy My Bits, and in today's video I am covering an update from Plex that has some pretty good mobile user experience upgrades. The most exciting update that we have today is podcast. That's right, you can actually add podcast streams to your mobile device now and you can listen to it on the go. It's actually kind of cool. Even though I'm not really much of a podcast guy, I know a lot of people who listen and even talk about podcasts that they listen to all the time. Full disclosure, I wanted to show you not only the mobile update where you can add the podcast and stuff like that, but I also wanted to show you how it's mirrored on the desktop version. But unfortunately with the web UI, I did a force update and it doesn't seem to add the podcast beta to my server, at least not through the web interface screen. And since again, I do have a deadline on another project that I'm working on, I can't really fuss with it too much. Either way, most of these updates are going to directly affect your mobile usage, so I'm going to stick with that. So starting off, we have podcast. Podcast is actually pretty cool. If you're on your main screen, you go down to more, click on podcast, and you can browse some of the most popular podcasts available. So using this as an example, I'll browse down to Poop Culture because I have no idea what that is and I'm going to add it. I can click on that, add that to my podcast, and it will forever be there until I delete it. That way I'll get notified when there's new podcasts, and that will allow me to keep up to date on the most recent poop culture. Okay, so this is pretty cool, but if you wanted to search to try and find a podcast that maybe you listen to, but it's not right there on the front page, you can do that going to the search bar at the top. Pretty easy to go through and search for something. For example, I searched for tech just to see what was out there, and I added one that I found from my search results. Now, on my way to work, I listened to the radio, and on that radio, I listened to Todd and Tyler Radio Empire. I like what they say. They're interesting people. Sometimes they're funny. Either way, I only get about 20 minutes of actually listening to them before I show up for work and can't listen anymore. And they actually mirror everything that they say on the radio to a podcast, something that I can download and listen to later. So hypothetically, if I was unable to find them in the search results, I could always manually add a URL for a podcast that I wanted to listen to. So from the bottom, I can click on add podcast from URL, then either type or paste in the podcast URL itself, and then boom, there it is. So it's super easy to either find recommended podcasts, search for your favorite podcast, or even manually add a URL. Everything you would expect from, a piece of software that is going to play podcasts for you. And that's the biggest part of this Plex update. However, they did add a few customizable features that you could use in order to streamline your experience on your mobile device. And that is reordering your menu and your quick launch icons. You can change things like seeing what's on deck, seeing what you just added, etc. So to change something like the icons at the bottom of the Plex app, just click on more. From there, go up to the top right, click on edit, and then you can turn things on or off. So for example, if I don't ever use music on my Plex app, I can disable that completely. And then you can even switch things around. Like let's say you want TV shows above movies or vice versa. You can see at the bottom, it changes your little quick launch icon set. So if you wanted to easily be able to access something without having to go through a menu system, this is how you set it up. And it is amazingly easy. Same thing with adding or removing things on your home screen. Things like recently added, you can go over to the right and you can remove this completely from the home screen, or you can even choose to resort it to change which ones are at the top of the home screen. Maybe you want to add recently aired TV shows or recently added movies. Or if you really wanted to, you can even remove them from your home screen. Of course, you can add it back, but it's just an option. And there you have it. That's pretty much the update in a nutshell. I know this is kind of a quick and dirty update and maybe a little bit late on my part, but at least now you know you can use podcasts with Plex. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, as always, post them down below. Thank you for watching, like and subscribe, and have yourself a good day.